Welcome back. As we promised, we are going to tackle the tourism sector and to some developments and some good news regarding Hurghada, this wonderful Red Sea resort, as it was chosen one of the best 10 destinations worldwide. We do have other issues to speak about when it comes to tourism, but to shed more light on this choice. First, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Mr. Yehia Abdul, our tourism expert. A very good morning to you, sir.
Morning, you, Ms. Nermeen. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And starting with Hurghada, as I said, how do you see this choice? One of the most attractive 10 touristic destinations worldwide.
Well, TripAdvisor really is a world-leading travel promoter. You know, like it's one of the arms of the CNN. And they picked Hurghada, as among the top 10 destinations worldwide for this year, 2022. But the good news that it has been picked as well as a leading destination for next year. And this is definitely based upon hotel reservations, airline bookings, and the tour operations forecast worldwide.
Yes, sir. It was also announced yesterday, or recently to be accurate, from His Excellency Minister of Tourism and Antiquities, Dr. Khalid Al-Anani, that the tourist flow to Egypt is really increasing, and as we are returning back to our position before COVID-19 and the restrictions which were imposed due to the pandemic. How do you see this, and how do you see the efforts exerted in this regard?
Well, really, Minister of Tourism, Antiquities has been conducting vigorous, strategic plan for promoting Egypt, regionally and globally. So that's why this year, alhamdulillah, we're having a good season. And this is, reflected in the charter flights, that Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh and Marsa Alam and Alamein received direct from Dubai, from Jeddah, from Riyadh, from Dammam, apart from European destinations and other destinations worldwide. So that reflects, the hard work of the Ministry of Tourism. For example, Hurghada receives over 20,000 visitors per week. This is coming from 80 flights, charter flights. So this reflects, the influx of international inflows to Egypt.
Along the Red Sea, we do have wonderful resorts. Of course, Hurghada, Sharm el-Sheikh, Taba, Dahab, Nuweiba, you name it. And each place has its own characteristics, has its own flavor, if we may say. If you'd like to elaborate on the Hurghada's flavor and why it's really distinguished.
Well, really, Hurghada, has been one of the earliest resorts to be developed. It was developed prior to even to Sharm el-Sheikh, That was the first resort, like Sokhna and Hurghada, since the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Has been marketed locally and globally and regionally as well. It offers excellent beach resort activities, diving, parasailing, scuba diving. It represents as well concerts, sport events, cycling, racing. They have on weekly basis a monthly art exhibit. They have gastronomic contests. They have festivals, musical, and they have an extension of the Red Sea Mountains, which really offers exotics, tourism programs for adventure travelers locally and internationally as well.
Sir, here we are speaking about the tourists coming from all over the world, but how it's also important to propagate for Hurghada more to attract Egyptians even to spend their vacations there. Because, for example, now you would find people who prefer to have their weddings, for example, in El Gouna or in Hurghada as a change. How do you see this, and what's our homework to encourage these moves?
Really, this is a new trend, that has been extended to the Egyptian resorts, in the Mediterranean and Red Sea as well. Having concerts and weddings and festivals and gatherings, because Hurghada is very close to Cairo and it's accessible and it's very popular as well. and it offers, like a variety of ranking for the pricing, like and the budget for the Egyptians, like they have luxury, they have medium, they have budget, they have affordable. That's why it's more accessible for Egyptians
Yeah.
who like to have
Hurghada is not that
close.
close to Cairo, but it's becoming closer with the networks of roads, which made it easier to reach Hurghada. But, sir,
Definitely.
let me focus a little bit on this, if you permit me. Um, there were some assumptions that were saying that Hurghada is only for the elite, only the high standard people can go there. But now the case, I think it's becoming different, and there are places, and there are hotels and motels and accommodations which is really suitable for many of the brackets of our society. True?
That's true. And even, like for the Gulf visitors, for example, for the first time, Hurghada received a cruise ship, like Bellissima, it was carrying over 700 passengers from Saudi. So becoming, having like more access, like of modes of travel. They have the charter airlines, they have the sea cruises, they have the road, they have, and hopefully, like the extension, like the bullet train going all the way from Sokhna to Marsa Matruh. You can have an access, like from Hurghada to Sokhna and be on the Mediterranean within 2 hours.
This was my common question, sir, if you permit me. Of course, we do have a leap in constructing smart cities all over Egypt. The new Alamein city, El Galala, El Sokhna, and there are renovations of many of the capitals of our provinces. Do you think that this is going to steal the camera from the relatively old resorts like Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh, or each place is going to remain in the hearts and minds of its admirers, or those who prefer to go there rather than any other place, and each place is going to have its own flavor and its own taste?
Well, really, these results, like they represent like nostalgia and classic values for Egypt, like still people go to, like Bor Said, Ras Al Barr, Gamasan, Baltim, on one level, and then we have Alexandria all the way to Matruh, and we have the classic, like winter and summer resorts, Luxor, Aswan, Mania, and Mars Alam, Gara, and Sharm el-Sheikh. So really you still have, hopefully this year, inshallah, we exceed 50 million visitors, but still, like we need to have like 25 million, 30, 45. So there is more room for visitors, and we are developing more facilities now. Look at the, like the chain of hotels and luxury brands that we have, like on Alamein, like on Marsa Matruh now.
Yes.
This is amazing. It has been recognized worldly, like I have calls from friends in the Gulf. They say, we like to go to Alamein, because this is a new trend and everybody wants to enjoy, like its facilities and attractions. Yes, you are right.
Very well said, sir. Sir, also, I'd like, if you permit me, to focus on our homework, because we do have a lot of potentials. I mean, sports tourism, health tourism, in addition to, of course, the entertainment, the beach, the nature, the wonderful weather, all these, let's say, forms or types of tourism. Is it social media? Is it propaganda through the tourism agencies? Is it what? What should we do more?
Well, actually, like the ministry really allocated $90 million to be, like spread over 3 years, like to promote Egypt globally. So this is very wise from the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. But as well, like we have to upgrade, like the services that we have, because it's not only like the hotels and restaurants and entertainment, but visitors that they like to come, they like to mix with the locals, like enjoy the gastronomy of Egypt, the art, the bookshops, the art shows. When you travel abroad Egypt, you do the same thing. Plus, of course, shopping. Some come for medical, for religious. We have the Holy Family itinerary in Egypt. We have, like the early shrines for Muslims in Fustat and, like in Cairo and Alexandria. So really we have lots to offer, as you already mentioned.
Even you have the tourism of conferences, forums, gatherings. Why we are centralized in certain places or in certain cities? What about having our conference or our forum or our gathering in Hurghada or in Sharm el-Sheikh or in Taba and Nuweiba, all such places? Is it possible?
You're definitely true. Like Sharm el-Sheikh, for example, has been like a hub for like world conferences, convention, exhibitions. I mean, like since like 30 years ago. So now really we are, like having this, and we are doing like international. Looks like, for example, the next November we are going to have the COP27, where we expect over 15,000, like visitors and participants that will be representing environmentalists, that will be representing world politicians, like media coverage worldwide.
Yes. Sir, also, I think it's going to be announced in the coming period about photos. Now, photos, you can have your photos in our streets without permission. But also about movies, about cinema, about movie casts coming from all over the world. If they are going to come and to shoot their movies here in Egypt, and particularly in the Red Sea resorts, I think this is going to be another kind of propaganda. When we do receive casts from all over the world, with the choice of Hurghada as one of the best 10 destinations in the year 2020, for example, this is only an example, this is going to be another step forward, if you agree with me on that.
Yeah, definitely. Like that was very, very smart, like from the Minister of Tourism and Media, like to give access to visitors. Because, like, look, like at the power of the social media, the Twitters, and what's going on, they are becoming like the fastest track for disseminating information worldwide.
Yes.
So, and there are, like lots of events and contests that's giving weight to this type of new technology that's going to be growing at a very high rate.
Yep.
Exactly. And Egypt, like, remember, we have been like, like portrayed and, like, look at the Pharaonic art, the Greco-Roman, the Arabs, when we have the European, like painters, like an artist and photographers and cameramen coming to Egypt since the 15th, 14th century and making portraits. So Egypt, like is like a jewel for the whole world to portray because of its culture, heritage, civilization, scenic, its Nile, its pyramids. So really, it was smart.
We are such a rich country with all what you have said, and above all, with the kindness and the smile of the people. Well, Mr. Yehia Abdul, our tourism expert, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. And by this, we come to the end of our episode of our breakfast show today. Tomorrow is another day and another crew. Stay tuned on Nile TV International always for more updates, and for more details, please log on to www.nileinternational.net. You were in the company of my dear colleague and friend Amal Mukhtar and myself, Nermeen Abdurrahman. Many thanks for watching.